In Escape from Tarkov, medical crates are quite rare, and due to this can be commonly overlooked or ignored by a lot of Tarkov players. I set my sights on one of my largest tasks yet. I set out to loot 1,000 of each kind of supply crate, and first up are the medical crates. The majority of all these crates are concentrated in one area. However, you can find them scattered across multiple different maps, so hopefully this info can help give you a better idea as to whether or not you should be looting them while doing your own runs on whatever map you do. If you would like to jump into the meat of the video, I will have a chapter available down below to click on. It will be the only chapter within this video. However, in the future, we'll be dividing these up into a little bit more specific chapters for you to make it a little bit easier for you to get to the content that you prefer within these videos. For this experiment, I had to grind the same area of reserve over and over again, which became quite mind-numbing. Some of the highlights were that I got to fight Gluhar a few times and had to deal with the scav event, which was great, whereas I got one-tapped multiple times in the face through face shields with the scavs that had aimbot for the weekend. This made this entire process even more difficult for me. I could only get a maximum of 9 medical crates on reserve, but this meant that I had to complete between 100 and 150 raids and got on average around 10 to 15 crates per hour. I spent about 75 to 100 hours of looting to complete all of these crates of the medical ones. These were the most difficult in terms of time I've had to dedicate to collecting data. I looted 1,000 medical crates across about 85 hours, noted every item I found, whether or not I took them, noted the market values, drop percentages, and the value per slot of each item during this experiment, and here's what I found. Hi, I'm Solaris, and welcome to another looting guide for Escape from Tarkov, where I loot 1,000 of each container and provide the results of all those loots. The idea behind these guides is to try to provide like a practical drop rate for players. I'm not trying to say that I know the actual numbers or the multipliers within the game. Regardless of the availability of those from battle state games, what I'm trying to provide you is an expectation to have when looting and whether or not you think those items are worth looting. Before I get into the meat of the video, I would like to mention that at the time this video posts, I will be live over at twitch.tv/Solaris. You can expect me to be completing whatever item we are looting next. If you have any questions about how the data is collected or analyzed or routing for the raids, or just want to come say hi, meet me over there and I can respond to any of those. A lot of times, we'll take a break and run a few fun raids with like only grenades to factory or things like that. So if that kind of thing entertains you, you can also stop by and take a look there as well. I have created a spreadsheet with all the applicable information that I collected for easy access like I usually do. That will be linked in the description below. Please do not save it as it will unlink it from the market. Simply bookmark the sheet and then revisit it whenever you want some updated info. In addition, like always, I have created a graphic. Thankfully, this video's containers only require one graphic, as recently I've been having to complete 4 to 10 graphics for each container, and this takes a lot of extra time on top of the collection. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to create each graphic, so when I'm creating 10 graphics, that's 150 minutes, which is over 2 hours of extra work that I have to put in just to give you an easy visual reference. So luckily for this one, we only had to do about 15 minutes of extra work on top of it. Since we do have less items, I can go more in depth on individual items since there is much less to cover with this container. The total count of items that I found was 2,459. This is a noticeably larger amount of items than I normally find in any of the containers, illustrating the volume and the concentration of loot within these specific containers. The first items we will address are going to be the healing items, any item that can actually increase your HP, like from 439 to 440, for example. So those items were the AI2 med kits, the car first aid kits, and the Salua first aid kit. Overall, you had about a 25% chance of getting any item that can actually increase your HP. In addition, the Saluas are required for your initial shortage quest. There are only a couple of available supply crates with the medical items in them early on without keys, but you did have about a 7.5% chance of getting a Salua, which definitely still makes them worth checking when trying to complete this quest early on. And these can be overlooked by a lot of players, like I said, because they are so rare. Maybe they don't think that they're actually a medical crate. Maybe they think they're a different kind of crate. So the ones underneath of the helicopter and the ones in the courtyard of the helicopter as well might be worth checking if you're like on a scav run or something like that and you don't want to run out in the middle on your PMC with your fresh wiped gear. You can run out there on your scav run and try to grab the medical crate over there by the truck near the helicopter. The next items that I would like to address are any of the items that give you the painkiller effect. The loot pool for this listed on the wiki included Vaseline, Propofol, morphine, ibuprofen, Golden Star, Augmentin, and the regular painkillers that you kind of see that you would get at your grocery store. If searching for any kind of painkiller, you had about a 30% chance of finding any item that can provide that effect for you. The highest chance being the old school Analgin painkillers, and the next one being morphine right behind that. You do need morphines for one of your quests, so this is definitely a great way to look for them, as they have one of the higher chances of dropping within these containers. The Golden Star and Propofol, I did not find any of, but they are listed as part of the drop pool. Maybe I had terrible RNG, or maybe those items have actually been removed from the loot pool since the last time it was updated on the wiki, but I found 0. The next items that I would like to address are any of the items that help you deal with kind of like negative effects that you get from combat. You had about a 30% chance of getting a type of bandage. However, you had about a 45% chance of getting any item that could deal with a light bleed, like the Saluas or the car first aid kits, in addition to those regular bandages. The normal splint had about a 15% chance of dropping. However, the 5-use splint was not available at all from these medical supply crates and was not listed on the wiki, so I assume that it just can't be found in these crates. A few of the noticeable absences from these crates that kind of surprised me. The largest absence was the absence of any kind of item that deals with heavy bleeds except for Saluas. You had no S-marks, no cats, no hemostats. In addition, the Grizzly First Aid Kit was also missing, and as mentioned before, the 5-use splint was missing. This is definitely something that I think should be added. You don't have to give them high drop rates or anything like that, but a simple tourniquet should be something that could be commonly found in a medical crate, similar to a bandage. The final group of items that I wanted to mention here are some of the barter items that I think are pretty valuable, especially early on in a wipe. The disposable syringes had about a 9% chance, and the medical blood set had around a 10% chance as well. When trying to get those first couple of med cases that you want to get to conserve inventory space early on in a wipe, this is actually a pretty good way of farming the stuff that you need to get that. In addition, the piles of meds had about a 20% chance of being found. These can be bartered early on for a pistol case and could be very useful early on. I did find a few ophthalmoscopes, which can be traded along with the meds to go for an items case. So this is probably a good way to start farming those ophthalmoscopes and meds early on to get your items case a little bit earlier than you normally would. One of the largest benefits from all of these supply crates is not a single one of the medical, ration, or technical supply crates were empty. I'm not sure if they are coded to never be empty or if I just got really, really good RNG, but I did not find a single empty over 3,000 crates. So this is actually a pretty good opportunity to look, just because you're never calculating in a 0 when you're opening in these crates. The average value for each of the medical containers was about 22,000 rubles per crate. This is significantly higher than any of your previous lootables that you've looked at, which have all been around 15,000 per container, give or take 1 to 2,000 rubles per container. The best place to farm these, for those who may not be aware, is beneath the bunker hermetic door. There are 4 cages under there which require 4 different keys, being RBPSP1, RBPSP2, RBPSV1, and RBPSV2. Each crate has at least 1 medical container, with the PSV1 and PSV2 keys having the highest amount of medical crates, with there being 5 between the 2 of them and 2 in the remaining 2 cages on the opposite side. One caveat when trying to farm these under the bunker hermetic door is to be cautious of the Gluhar spawn underneath, the Gluhar spawn in K buildings, as well as the raiders near the bunker door, as this can throw a huge wrench in your plans as you run down there freely and realize that the scav boss is just waiting for you. If you go down from like the depot hermetic door entrance, or from the small entrance on the north side of K, you can pretty easily fight Gluhar and his minions from there. However, if you go down from the bunker hermetic door side, it can be very difficult to fight them in such an open area down there. Although you can't access these early on in a wipe unless you have a key, there are a few that I do again want to specifically mention just because they are available without keys on reserve. There is one that is in the bunker underneath the helicopter, and then there is one in the courtyard beside the helicopter on the back of a truck. So you definitely want to be hitting those to try to get those Saluas early on, as well as trying to get some of your more common barter items that you need for the meds case. And as soon as you hit and find one of those keys, you should definitely start farming it underneath the bunker hermetic door, as not many people go down there, especially early on in a wipe. There probably aren't that many people farming that. If you felt that the information provided in this video was helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. This just allows more people to be able to see videos like this, and I will be responding to all of your comments regardless of how trolls they may be. If you would like to continue following my content, I recommend subscribing, and to get updates on the release of my videos, click that notification bell and then click the notification when it pops up. I have thoroughly enjoyed interacting with the majority of the community, as the support and positive feedback has been amazing from everyone. I have enjoyed playing with a lot of new people that I've met on stream, on YouTube, and in-game as well. Finally, I would like to remind you that if you'd like to see more, I will be streaming on Twitch at the time this goes live, and can sometimes share info about the different crates that I'm looting before those videos go live, so you can take advantage of that earlier. In addition, we do some crazy things like take only grenades to factory and things like that, just to kind of break up the monotony of looting, 1,000 of the same container over and over again. So if you're interested in something like that, or if that kind of thing entertains you, then come and stop by there and we will have some fun over there. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.